Time to shine today, podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson. I have my guy, Dan T. Rogers. He's over on the left coast. And you got to go to his website after you listen to this because it's just so beautifully put together, where he has salessidekick.com. And he's going to kind of walk you through and get you the most effective way to get ahead in the world where everyone wants to be a superhero, but there's also the intentional sidekick that has to be there as well. His sidekick experience is going to be helpful. He's the founder of Point-to-Point Transportation, P2P, and Inc. 5,000 participants, 7 years in a row. The revenue is the tip of the iceberg. The resulting byproducts of that level of growth and learning from all the incorrect decisions made is priceless. So he's going to pass on information to help you level up and get over those obstacles. And I'm just going to stop here because I really want to get in and talk to my really good friend, Dan T. Rogers here. And welcome, Dan. Thank you so much for coming on to the Time to Shine Today podcast and introduce yourself to the Varsity Squad. But you've listened to my show before. So what is your favorite color and why?
Oh, this is awesome. This is, after listening to this a couple times, it's cool to be on the other side. Yeah. So green is my favorite color because I just see it as the start of growth. Yeah.
Yes. It's always a turnover and it's always growing. I love that. I love it. So let's dig in to maybe some of the origins that led up to the salessidekick.com, if you don't mind, because I'm really interested in this because there's so much information that's put out, but I want to dig in and get it from the man himself.
Sure. Yeah. So it started sort of unintentionally. I found out for myself personally that it's just a better life strategy for me to be a sidekick. Like I do significantly better when I show up anywhere in any walk of my life and try to align myself to something larger than myself. Okay. I get into trouble pretty quick, almost without fail, when I try to align myself as a superhero. I'm not opposed to superheroes. Like I love them and I want to work for them, but I just don't think I have the skill set. I have the ego of a superhero. I just don't have the skill set of a superhero. So that's really where it started. And then Sales Sidekick is a COVID baby. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you launched it. I love that you love to align yourself with things larger than themselves. But I mean, really without the sidekick, you can't really go as a superhero to the next level without solid support, basically, right? Am I saying that right with what you kind of provide to companies?
Absolutely. And what I would say is, are you sure you're a hero or a superhero if you don't have a sidekick? Like, I mean,
right.
I think
right. Absolutely.
That's a testament to being a superhero is that you got a sidekick for sure.
Love it. I love it. Donnie's sitting here laughing. He's actually pretending like he has a coat or a cape on. He's my producer over here. He's kind of like saying, and he is, I would not be able to survive without my guy. So I'm going to go this route with you. If I'm out at a networking event, which here in South Florida, we do quite a bit. We're press and flush meeting people. What kind of things are people like? I love to get one-on-ones with people, right? And no one knows what I do because I'm so curious about other people. Yeah. What kind of things are people saying that would make them a good prospect, contact, or connection for Sales Sidekick?
So for Sales Sidekick, there's a really specific persona, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I promise what I would say is in a networking event, I want to show up as a human. And what I would be looking for is like where I think I'm on this earth to help people figure out what they want and how to get it. Like, that's it. Like, I think that's what the boss made me to do. So that's how I would show up. If someone said, hey, what do you do? I help people figure out what they want and how to get it. So how Sales Sidekick, what Sales Sidekick does is it helps viable businesses that have achieved 7 digits or close. I mean, I think the $1 million mark is there. And then sales have stalled. If you think you figured out sales and you think you figured out growth, I'm on your side. God bless you and all the speed in the world. But if you have a viable business and your sales have stalled, revenue is stalled, we think we can be helpful.
Awesome. That's a perfect answer for that, man. And that's easy for me to like refer people to, just with the way that you just answered that right there. That's fantastic. You told me who you needed, who you wanted, what they have to have in revenue, or what you would like them to have in revenue. And if they've stalled out, I love that. I love it. So then was Sales Sidekick more of a coaching or is it a consulting platform?
So we're still figuring it out, quite frankly.
Okay.
To be brutally candid.
Thank you.
I roll as straight as I can. I do fine when I stick to the truth. So
we all do, right?
Yeah. No, I gotta remind myself. So we're still figuring it out. We launched on February 21st of 2021.
Great date. It's my birthday.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday. I'll remember that next year. I will never forget your birthday. Yeah. So we're still figuring out, but what I think where we can be helpful is helping business leaders who've gotten to that viability standpoint. And before you make some big decisions that are hard to undo, we can give you a different way of looking at business. I would encourage you to look at a business as a system instead, and design it larger than I think most people do. And that creates much classier problems. Yeah, much classier problems than sort of just the traditional approach to how people build businesses.
Classier problems. That is awesome. That is really cool, man. That's really cool. Well, so go ahead.
Well, I just got to throw this out here. So I've been fortunate that life continues to get better. The boss is super generous. And the problems don't go away. They just get classier. Like they get classier. I've yet to outrun problems, but man, problems today would be like dreams from 10 years ago, for sure. Yeah.
I love that, man. I'm actually writing that down, man. And that's going to be your quote. So that's awesome. I mean, I've never heard it say like that, but it's true. Yeah. Like you just said, I mean, where technology has brought us, like wouldn't even have thought of these problems then, right? Exactly. I heard that correctly, correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't tell people that I don't know well what my problems are, because they all sound like humble brags, but like, that's it. Like, I mean, next week I'll be sitting down with a mentor of mine and I'll be sniveling about stuff that is just ridiculously classy, but that's what it is.
That's awesome. Classy, stay classy, Seattle, San Diego. I love it. Yeah. I love it. So when you're bringing in a company that has around six figures, coming in and, before they hit that hard to undo situation, what is some of your secret sauce over there at Sidekick? Super. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm saying this the right way. Salessidekick.com, just so people can hear it. What's some of your secret sauce over there, if you don't mind sharing, to help them find that blind spot that they might be facing?
Yeah, so I think what it is, and I'm going to take a half a step back, and I promise I'll come forward again.
No, you're fine.
I think we all understand this, and I have not ever heard a guest on your podcast or anything that you said that is contradictory to this, but like as individuals, we intuitively understand that if we want to be successful ethically and honorably, that we have to contribute more than we take out. And that's what leads to success. And we do that in a community or marketplace. And the validation of that is that the community or the marketplace crosses the room and says, I must do business with you. Will you make me a customer? Like, we understand that as individuals. I think where we lose sight, or we just sort of get the math wrong, is that when we get a group of individuals together and we call it a business, we get a little too focused on the take and not on the contribution. So when they've reached that point of viability, before they start making all these other decisions that get to be undone, what I'd ask them to do is just look at sort of systems design and what value are they creating in the marketplace. And one of the ways that we test that is, what's the value of the byproducts that your company produces, right? So every system has waste, whether we like it or not. And so waste is a nasty way of saying byproducts, right? So, yeah. So I just encourage folks through the framework that we've designed to walk them through, and we can design a larger system that your business stays about the same size, but with the focus being larger, the byproducts become much more valuable. And just to tie it back, I mean, they're just classic problems for sure.
No, that's huge. Yeah. That's huge. So when you're dealing with companies, are you dealing generally at the start with the CEO or the owner of the company? Okay.
Yeah, no, I think, we have 9 steps to our quote unquote sales process, if you want to call it that, but it doesn't, it'll work on an individual basis. Sooner or later, you just drive your boss crazy if your boss isn't on board, for sure. That's what I did. the last two people I worked for before I bought the company and the company prior to that, I was at the same time their most favorite and dreaded employee. I was on the top of both of those lists, the biggest pain in the butt and their favorite employee
and their best ally, their best sidekick.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. The whole entire time. Yeah,
I love that. And that you can't ask for much better. So have you ever ran into a situation? I want to see how you might have handled this. It's like, you know, the CEO might bring you in, but there's that person that's right below him, right? You know, he helped get that company to the 7 figures ish that they're coming in. How do you deal with that ego?
So that's one of the reasons why we want to start with them small. Because there's less legacy issues to deal with.
I like it.
Yeah, that's really we learned that the hard way. We learned it through. It's one of the reasons. I mean, my ego is such, and I mean, I've got big numbers for career sales.
Sure.
I'd love to help bigger companies. That would sound sexier. I don't want to argue with assholes that think they know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I just don't want to do it. It's like I try to be 100% pull guy. So it's like, look,
right.
You know, if you can fall back on your $82 million of annual revenue, that's fine. Right. But you're still stalled. Like you're still stalled at 82.
Yeah.
I just want to argue. People at the $1 million mark are way more coachable. Yeah. And B, they don't have all the legacy issues. And I know the next 3 to 5 years of their life like the back of my hand because I've done it a couple.
Because you've been there, you've helped yourself and other people get through that.
Yeah, exactly.
Already. I love that. I love that. So when you're working with these companies, or you're starting to take on that, you know, that person has, you know, $1.2 million in sales or whatnot. And you know, you sit down with them the first time. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
No, actually, I mean, I think they ask plenty of questions of me. The question that I ask of them is really to try to figure out what it is they want. And usually it's all silly, sort of tangible business stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll get all that stuff, but let's be greedy with ethics, right? But let's be greedy and like, what's in it for you? What's the valuable byproduct in the rest of your life that this business or this system is going to provide? Because if all you want to do is chase revenue, there's probably 1,000 other people better than me to work with. But
sure.
If you want to get the rest of and this just becomes the platform, your business, your system becomes the platform you stand on, then that's super exciting. I'd love to help with that.
You mentioned byproduct. That's not a bad word, right?
I think it's a fabulous word, but like I look at words a lot differently. I honestly, so I've got 8 restraints that I live by, and one of them is that work is the most honorable word in the universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you kind of, unless I heard it wrong, you analyzed it kind of as a waste. So byproduct's not exactly waste, right? It's just something that happens out of a situation. Right?
So I think from a system standpoint, the way that I would phrase it, and thank you for clarifying it. So I think untapped waste is waste, but realized waste becomes a byproduct.
Untapped waste is waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what did you say? Unrealized?
I'm just making this up as we go because framed it like this is great. So I always reserve the right to learn more than the other person, and this is already happening. So thank you. Yeah. So what I would say is untapped byproduct is waste, and waste is utilized. Product is utilized waste. I mean, they're the reciprocals of each other.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. I was hoping you were going to say that because that's the way I was thinking with you. I just want to make sure the squad out there, knows that we're not just saying anything that happens out of the company is shit. You know what I'm saying? 100%. It's like, it's all,
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So on that.
I thank you for clarifying because
I appreciate it.
It was obvious in my head, but clearly not coming out of my mouth. So thank you for that.
No, that's awesome, man. So let me ask you something then. You're very unique. You remind me a lot of who introduced us a little bit, Justin Breen, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything that people misunderstand about you, Dan?
Yes. Yeah. So, and I misunderstood it about myself. I am sort of a reformed or sales guy. I'm not a sales guy. I'm a systems guy.
Okay.
I am a systems guy who, when I see the system, I get incredibly animated and it gets mistaken for being a sales guy. I had ridiculous success in sales because I was a really good systems guy with a phenomenal support team in a market that wanted what we had. but it was because I designed a great system. It was despite my being the front person that we had that success. Truly. I mean, I used to say it to customers when I was actively selling before I bought the company. It's like, our team is so good, I'm the pretty face. So, I mean, I'm a 5'7" ball guy and have been for a long time. So, but it's true. It was true. Like, one of my rules is, when in doubt, just tell me exactly what you're thinking. Just tell the truth. Yeah. Just tell the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I found myself in the same place because I will get excited about something. I'm fired up, dude. I want to help people level up. So I have a certain people that I have kind of go in and preface, especially if I'm about ready to take on a huge coaching situation, because the second that I start talking about what I'm excited about, they think, oh, here's Fergie selling me on something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's really not, man. It's my systemized approach to getting fired up. And I love that you had said that. So then you've listened to a couple shows, and I really, really appreciate that. But like, you've seen the movie Back to the Future?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's reverse it. Where we're going, there are no roads. Okay. Yeah. Where do you see Sales Sidekick in 5 years?
So where I hope it is what we're trying to do. I'm always going to come backwards and then run forward to answer the question. So it is a byproduct of point to point. It is a byproduct of COVID. I had a lot of free time on my hands because of COVID, and I went to the whiteboard and I talked to the boss and I said, what do you want me to do? And I got this answer that scared the what out of me. The answer was redeem work. And so I wrote down that I wanted to redeem work, the word, the place, and then the physics, right? Like, are we doing it correctly? And what came out of that was I started talking to other business owners, and I thought we could be helpful in certain ways, and we probably were. But what I found out by talking to them and trying to serve them was, they told me how we could help them with sort of realigning their sales and marketing, because the way that we talked about it, the way we did it at point to point, was wildly different than how they had seen other people do it and how they were doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping is that we're right smack dab in the middle of redeeming work. Like I mentioned before, I mean, I have these 8 restraints, and one of them is, I think work is the single most honorable act in the universe.
Sure.
I think it's the single most honorable thing you can do.
Absolutely.
Like, love is amazing, but it's a byproduct.
Yeah.
It's super generous that the boss gave it to us, but like, it's not much of an accomplishment. Like, I love my children, I love my wife. But
you said redeem work is word, place, and physics?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got to replace the word, because it's a dirty word to most people. It's not a dirty word to you, and it's not a dirty word to anyone I've ever heard on your show.
Got it. Thank you.
It's probably not a dirty word to the squad, but to the rest of the planet, they think it's a dirty word.
Right.
If we align our life correctly, I got paid to practice getting better at my life.
Love it.
Yeah. That's how I mean, so I say it all the time when we're working. I'm like, it beats working. And people look at me and I'm like, it's not working. I used to carry couches, man. This is not work. Yeah.
Love it. Dude, that's fantastic. So what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night is, do I have the courage to swing for the fence? Like, I've had the success up to this point. There hasn't been any emotional risk. I haven't put myself out there. Saying these crazy things like classy problems and mistakes at full speed and the boss and, all this stuff that I'm sharing with you. 5 years ago, I was saying it, but only to like 6 people that knew me.
Right.
And so I'm willing. What keeps me up at night is, do I have the courage to put myself out there to see what can become of all this?
Love it. I love it. That's very transparent. I appreciate you saying that. So
point to point wasn't like it didn't come without stress or whatever, but like it very rarely kept me up at night, because the risk was, minimal. It's like I cared about it. I love the business. I love the company. I love the people and all that, but it isn't the same as putting yourself and your crazy ideas out there.
So let me ask you something. What's one thing then, because you've went through a lot, what's one thing that has really blown your mind?
What has blown my mind is that that more people don't think the way that I do, and it's not that I have not made up a single thing. Like, I've uncovered what I think are the universal truths, and I sometimes have a zippy way of, like, classy problems is just a zippy way of saying if you have success, your problems will just get, so I'm the thing that's blown me away is that people look at the world differently. When I started in working, I just always looked at it this way, and it was in trying to lead other people that it became obvious that I looked at the world differently.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. And it's I just have to ask you then, how do you want to be remembered like that? Because you've made so many transitions, yet you're still staying on the same point, like that little dash that's between your incarnation date and your expiration date. How do you want that dash remembered then?
So what I'm hoping is that that regardless of how people knew me, that like when I was with them, they were the single most important person in the universe, and that I was trying to help them figure out where they wanted to go and how to get it. Yeah,
love it, man. Yeah. That's how I go with any client that I'm working with. Yeah. Dan, is that I want them to feel like they're my only client. While I'm with them, I'm 100% present. I'm 100% zoned in on them. I love that. I love it. So, Dan, what is your definition of a life well lived?
I think life well lived is knowing that you left it all out on the field. I'm working with somebody now that as a coach, Dr. Jeff Spencer. If you don't know who he is, he's beyond brilliant. Mm-hmm. And that's restraint number 5, copy up the smartest kid in class. That's his words. I had the feeling, but it's his words. And I want to, at the end, I want to be like, I left it all out there. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. And squad, we're going to take my good friend, Dan T. Rogers here from Sales Sidekick through our leveling up lightning round, just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. And hey, time to shine today, podcast Varsity Squad. We are back with the founder of SalesSidekick.com, my good friend, Dan T. Rogers. And Dan, we like to take our interviewees to our leveling up lightning round, and you and I could talk forever on each one of these questions, but you have 5 seconds with no explanations. You ready to rock?
I'm gonna try.
Let's do it. We'll have a buzzer if you go along. I'm kidding. Here we go. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
There are no special snowflakes.
Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Building Legos with my 6-year-old.
Love it, dude. That's fantastic. So other than SalesSidekick.com, TimeToShineToday.com, a shameless plug. What website do you like to go to level up?
Seth's blog is, I don't go
to Seth Godin,
but yeah, Seth's Godin
Very
blog
good.
is a great one.
Very good. You see me, like, man, Fergie's looking down. He's moping around. It's very odd. What book are you handing me?
What book am I handing you? Wow, I don't know. I think I would talk. I'm a verbal guy.
There you go. Very cool, man. What's your most commonly used emoji?
0.
No, okay. If you could be, and don't lie to me on this one, but if you could be one age for the rest of your life, keep the wisdom you have and continue to garner wisdom, what age physically would you stay for the rest of your life?
28.
Me too. Dude, I say 28 to 32 every freaking time. Thank you for saying that.
I was bulletproof at 28.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, me too, bro. Me too.
Dumb as a knucklehead, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Chess or checkers?
Oh, dude, it's 100% chess. There's one of the restraints. That's one.
Okay, got it. Love it. Favorite charity and organization you like to give your time or money to?
Ignite Worldwide. Yeah, check them out.
Beautiful. Last question. You elaborate a little bit on this one, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh, well, look, I'm calling in from Seattle, so it's 90s. It's
the grunge, baby.
We were the mecca of angst. Yeah.
If you don't mind, how old are you, brother?
I'm 52.
Wow. Yeah, dude, so I thought you were like 43, I'm 49. I'll be 50 in February 21st, your anniversary.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
That was a loaded question because I was right in the middle of all that.
Yeah. So, you had the 80s rolling in, and you and I lived like big hair, don't care, right?
Yeah.
You know, Run DMC, dude, all that shit that came out. And then we rolled right into like grunge, garage bands like Blink. I mean, dude, you and I lived the best times of music ever. But I'll chill out with some 70s in the background every once in a while, you know, if there's Eagles on or whatnot. That's awesome, dude. So, Dan, how can we find you, brother?
I think the best way is just Dan T. Rogers at LinkedIn. It's all there. It's all there. You can jump off of that.
Awesome. And we'll give you a warm introduction, you know, to Dan as well, because we're going to set this up. We're going to do a little campaign for Dan Squad when we put it out there. So Dan, do me a favor and leave us with one last knowledge nugget you want us to take with us, internalize, and take action on.
So what I would say is, again, there are no special snowflakes. I find it.
Dude, I wrote that down.
Yeah. I find it much more effective to think of my business as a system and apply the laws of systems thinking, not the laws of business. Yeah.
I love it. And Squad, he doesn't mean anything political by that. What he means is everything is unique, but there's a system to fit everybody, which is fantastic. My good friend Dan T wants you to align with things larger than yourself. And as you start to grow, and if you're a business owner that does, 7 figures or right around seven figures, you don't want to hit that hard to undo decision, get with Sales Sidekick, get with us. Let us make that warm introduction to Dan. Dan is somebody that is a go-giver mentality, like my good friend and neighbor here, Bob Berg, that wrote the book, The Go-Giver. He wants you to give more than you take. And in business, byproduct is not a bad word. There's valuable byproducts. You want untapped byproducts is waste. Okay. He wants you to understand that you got to tap in and level up your abilities at all the times. And then he also brought up redeem work, which is word, place, and physics. I want you to go back and re-listen to that part again, because that blew my mind. He wants you to remember that there are no special snowflakes. I wrote that down. That is awesome. He wants you to make mistakes at full speed. Do it scared. Get out there. There's people like Dan that can help you level up and get past those obstacles. He's going to be remembered as someone that left it all out on the field, banged up, bruised, and battered, but going to the Hall of Fame still. And Dan, you level up your health, you level up your wealth, you're humble, yet you're hungry. You're part of our squad now. You've earned your varsity letter. Thanks so much for coming on, Dan.
Thanks, Scott. It was a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Chat soon.